In the start of this part, we see that there are two people. One is getting beaten, and one is beating. The person who is getting beaten says that he knows it. There are many dead people. He tells him that he is different from all those people. They were worthless and foolish. Protagonist tells him to shut up. He is laughing like a maniac and says that you're the only one fit to kill me anyway. Protagonist says that he is not the one who is going to kill him. He promised his team that to put him on the chair so justice can be served. Protagonist thinks, I still regret it to this day. I should have killed him back then. We see a news reporter. She shows a picture of the worst villain in history. She says, this just in. Sungwon Hwang, the notorious villain that made the whole world tremble in fear, has been sentenced to death. A superpower suppression device has been placed on Hwang, and he is currently imprisoned on the 5th basement floor of Rookulous Prison for vicious villains. In other news, some of our heroes who fought alongside Gongyu Seo against Hwang have passed away. The joint funeral for the fallen heroes of equality will be held tonight. The government expresses its sincere gratitude for the selfless service of these heroes. Someone appears there and says, Gongyu, you're still recovering. You should be in bed, not watching TV. He is Rookulous Prison Inspector. Gango Seo. Gongyu thinks, that's my brother, and he is a corrections officer in Rookulous Prison. Hongyu says to him, you know what? I should have killed Hwang myself. Gango says to him, you promised your teammates. He remembers what his teammates said to him. One girl say, heroes save people. It's not our job to kill, so we must not kill anyone, even if they are a terrible villain. Criminals are people too, so they have the right to stand trial. Gongyu says to her, that's nice and all, but what if we get killed? She says, promise us not to kill anyone, no matter what happens. Gonghu says to him, I agree with what she said. People should only be sentenced by the law. But it's corrections officers, like me, that have to carry out those sentences. This is confidential information, but Hwang will be executed next week, and I'll be there as well. You did your job as a hero. Leave the rest to the corrections officers. Come on, let's go and say farewell to your teammates. We see people asking to kill all the villains. There are so many flowers and letters at the graves of heroes. Gongyu and Gango are also there. A week later, on the day of Hwang's execution, my brother was killed. Gongyu is crying and asks, why? The criminal who was supposed to be punished by the law survived, while my brother, a corrections officer, was killed. He is sitting there alone. Someone appears there. She says, long time no see. She is a warden of Rookulous Prison.
세은요.
She asks him, do you have a minute to talk? She shows her a tablet. Gongyu asks her, what is this? She tells him that this is what happened during Hang's execution. We see that Hwang is surrounded by officers. Hwang says to one officer, hey, you look like Gongyu Seo. Are you his brother? But you don't have any superpowers. Is that why you're a prison guard? Who's the older one? You or him? He didn't reply. Hwang says, tell me, how do you feel when you kill people? Gango gets shocked. Hwang says, well, you're a prison guard and an executioner. I bet you've killed people, just like me. So how does it feel? I feel like it's too easy. Hwang tells him that a gentle touch of his finger can kill anyone. Gango says, not me. I struggle with horrible feelings of guilt when I have to execute scumbags like you. Even though all I do is press a button, I get nightmares. Every villain tells him that he is a murderer like them. Gango says, the prisoners I executed torment me in my dreams. Hwang says, but somehow, you're still working here. Gango says, well, someone has to do it. I'm just doing my job as a corrections officer. Before we commence with the execution of prisoner Hwang, do you have any last words? Hwang says, so, who's older between you and your brother? We will now start the execution. 3, 2, 1. When he is about to press the button, the video gets stopped. She says, right at the moment of the execution, all powers in the Rookulous went out. Everyone gets scared. Gango says, I knew it. Due to an unidentified EMP strike. Only he can kill me. He asks everyone to get down. Suddenly a big explosion happens. They calls for backup and also tells that the prisoner broke the suppression device. We see that the Hwang touches him from behind. Something is happening to that officer. The officer gets popped like a balloon. Hwang says to Gango, You know what I think? I think you're the older brother. Am I right? Gango tries to hit him, but he destroys his arm. Huang says, I got it right, didn't I? Gango tells him that Huang deserved to be punished by law. Just must be served. You monster. But Huang kills him without any second thought. All the officers are dead. Huang says, I'd better ask Gongyu if I got it right. Zhou tells him, and now the unidentified EMP strike set all prisoners on every floor free of their suppression devices. The good news is that we stopped them from breaking out of prison, but many of our officers got trapped in there with them. Gongyu asks her, who launched the EMP strike? She tells him that they're still looking into that. Zhou says to him, I'm sorry I have to ask this of you at your brother's funeral. Can you suppress the riot at Rookulus prison? He says, of course, but under one condition. We see that inside the prison criminals are killing all the officers and trying to open the door. Gongyu thinks, my teammates told me heroes save people, and we're not supposed to kill. And my brother, who was a corrections officer, said people can only be sentenced by the law. We see that the prison door is opening. Gongyu thinks, the people who carried out the sentence are the executioners. So, I don't want to go in there as a hero. Let me enter the prison as an executioner. Gongyu appears at the prison door and says, I'm Gongyu, your new corrections officer. They ask him, why is a hero wearing a prison guard's uniform? Well, nice to meet you too, jerk. They run to attack him. Gongyu destroys one of them with just one punch. He kills so many of them with just one punch. They get very scared. Gongyu says, hello? Mic testing. Listen up, you pigs. Under the order of the government. Solitary confinement on the ground floor. First basement floor. Second basement floor. Third basement floor. Fourth basement floor. Fifth basement floor. Everyone from the ground floor all the way down to the fifth basement floor. I will take over. Huang says, hey, you're here. Gongyu says, my brother's duties will be executed immediately. Criminals think, an execution? They get angry and says, what the hell are you talking about? You're gonna kill us? Gongyu says, you took countless lives yourselves. Why are you so upset about getting killed? One person says, countless lives? I didn't kill the many people. He actually killed 12 people, and his name is Kelida. Second person says, I have more fingers than the number of people I killed. His name is Brooks. He killed 7 people. Next person's name is Keed, and he just killed 5 people. They say that you are not the lawyer. You are not the one to decide. We see one person. He is very calm. His name is Choi. He killed 8 people. He thinks, while he's distracted by other prisoners I can. He tries to run away from there. But Gongyu kills him. Gongyu says I will give you a choice. You can put your suppression devices back on, return to your cells, and wait for your execution. Or you can die at my hands right now. One person says, don't be ridiculous. The latter is obviously the better choice. We'll still end up dead either way. We might as well put up a fight before we die. The terms of your negotiation don't make any sense. Gongyu says, this isn't a negotiation. This is the last bit of mercy I'm offering you. They says that they're going to put their device back on. Suddenly he says, listen, a hero of equality or not, there's just one of him. He can't deal with our numbers. In fact, I've killed a second-tier hero before, and I did it through teamwork. That's right. Don't get intimidated by his name. Let's make quick work out of him and find freedom. Gongyu says, you must be the scumbag the warden told me about. Gongyu remembers what Ju told him. The prisoner in Rookulus are grouped by their threat level. The ground floor holds over 300 serial killers who have murdered several people. The first basement floor holds over 100 criminals who put towns in danger. The second basement floor holds over 30 criminals who put cities at risk. The third basement floor holds 10 individuals who made an entire nation vulnerable. The fourth basement floor holds 5 people who posed a threat to an entire continent. And the fifth basement floor holds Huang and other 2 criminals who put the entire world in danger. I know that a lot, but you'll only have to face a number of them. We see the second basement floor. 2 girls are there telling criminals to confess their sins. Both are using magic. We see the fifth basement floor. There is a girl. Huang says to her, I don't know anyone else down here. Now, I can kill some time until Gongyu gets here. Ju says that the things are a bit different on the ground floor. All the prisoners are united here under this man. Hillison. He has a special superpower which enables him to shout and empower target around him. Gongyu says to him, "You attacked a hospital with 30 other criminals to kill 7 civilians, and a second-tier hero named Hayes, for a total of 8. Hillison says, 10. It was 10 people. That hero lady was pregnant with twins. Gongyu calls the warden and says, "I might have to use some force. How sturdy is this prison?" She tells him not to worry, it won't break down no matter what you do. Gongyu says, "Then I won't have to hold myself back." Hillison says, "You're bluffing. You barely did anything in equality. I bet you captured Huang by sacrificing your teammates and getting the final tap. We'll send you to your teammates." He shout, "Strengthen." Everyone gets power buff. He orders everyone to attack him. Gongyu kills all of them without any problem. Hillison gets scared. He hit the ground and sent everyone flying with just the pressure. We see one prisoner. He says, "Is the Gongyu?" Hillison gets scared. Gongyu is about to land a punch and says, "Mode." Hillison orders his companion to stop him, but no one is capable of doing that. Gongyu used Mode 1 and killed many of them. Hillison also got cut in half. Everyone is dead on the ground floor. Gongyu says, "All floors on the ground floor have been executed. I'm heading over to the solitary confinement cell." After that, Gongyu thinks, "How many did I kill? Dozens? Hundreds?" He asks 2 criminals to make their choice. They run to attack him. He kills 1 criminal, and the second criminal says that he will go back to his cell. Gongyu thinks, "She said there are about 300 prisoners on the ground floor." Gongyu asks him to come and take his suppression device. Criminal goes near him and suddenly change his mood and attack him. Nothing happens to Gongyu. Gongyu thinks, one of the villains Tomi captured supposedly said, "I really pity people who don't have physical-type superpowers." Tomi, a member of Equality. She says, "They can only fire at targets from a distance, so they will never know how ecstatic it feels to crush a person with your bare hands." Is this supposed to feel ecstatic? It just feels like crushing an egg with your fists. After that, he enters a room. There is one criminal. He says, "I was wondering what the commotion was about." "So it was you. How long has it been?" 3 years? "Long time no see, Gongyu." This is the solitary cell on the ground floor. This criminal's name is Chuck Fielder. His crimes: cannibalism and desecration of corpses. Fielder asks him if he remember him. He says, "So you found yourself a new job, but you don't look too well." Gongyu says, "Choose. Put your suppression device back on or die." He says, "I knew we'd see each other again one day. If the early days of that Equality team of yours." Fielder remembers how he got caught. He is covered with chains so he can't move. Gongyu notices something. He sees a dish full of human meat. Fielder asks him, "Doesn't it look tasty?" "They're freshly killed and cooked, so it's gonna be scrumptious." Gongyu says, "He leaves me no choice. I'm gonna have to kill him." Again, that girl stops him. "Bro, I don't like this girl. What is wrong with her?" Anyway, she asks Gongyu to stop. Gongyu is very angry. Fielder says, "You looked very unhappy when your teammates decided to subdue me instead of killing me. If you don't answer my question, I will assume you choose to die now." Fielder asks him if he knows why he killed people. Gongyu kills him and says that he doesn't care. But in his last moments, Fielder tells him that he killed people so they will remember him. How is he still alive? He says, "When I kill someone, I become the most memorable person in their lives. I can use my power to engrave the memory of me in their eyes, so they'll never forget me, not even in death." His superpower is hallucination. Fielder says, "As proof of that, I remember everyone I've killed. Shall I name them one by one?" This girl was. Suddenly his hand cuts down by Gongyu. Gongyu says, "Not bad. So that's why you're in solitary confinement. I was aiming for that talkative mouth of yours, but I guess your superpower didn't give you time to dodge it." Fielder says, "Let me ask you something before I die. Do you remember the people you've killed your way here?" Gongyu tells him that he didn't know anyone because no one remembers scumbags. Fielder creates the illusion of his teammates in front of him. His teammates asks him not to kill anyone. Fielder says, "But maybe you'll remember this." Gongyu cuts down all of them and says, "All the tricks you have up your sleeve?" Gongyu cuts him down. He says, "I'm not a hero anymore. I'm a corrections officer now." Fielder says, "You are not a prison guard. You're nothing but a monster. You're no different from Huang. We see Huang, he says to the girl who was with her, come on, you won't even fight back. How long is it gonna take Gongyu to get here? Or maybe I should head up instead. We see 3 people, 2 girls and 1 boy. Boy asks girl, when do you want us to intervene, Sinka? Sinka says, he showed up. She is seeing Gongyu on a tablet. She says, that man is gonna be my husband. Man's name is Canis. He says, your husband? Sink says, yes. He's gonna be my hubby. Canis says, but you said you want Huang as your husband. Gato says, that's right. Isn't that why we fired the EMP strike to save Huang? Canis says, beside that guy is a hero. He's an obstacle to the progress of mankind. Sinka says, he was a hero. He doesn't seem like one now. Canis says, then chosen one. Gato says, yeah. Polygamy is illegal. Sinka says that it's a tough choice. Do I go for the younger one or the older guy? But I guess I'll have to choose one since they don't get along. Then the one who survives will be the man I choose. I wonder which one will make it out alive. Ju appears there. She says, well done, Office SEO. You wasted no time clearing the ground floor. The prisoners get exponentially more powerful from the first basement floor, so I suggest you get some rest.
Seo replies, no.
I'll head down right away. Please open the door. She says, I see. I have a favor to ask you before you head down. I'm still getting signal from surviving correction officers in the lower floors. Please help them so they may return to their families. Seo asks her, do you know how many officers alive on each floor? She tells him that she don't know. All communication devices below the first basement floor have been smashed up, except on the 5th basement floor. It's as if someone wants us to see what's going on down there. Gongyu says, I'll get going. Warden tells everyone that she is going to open the door that leads to the first basement floor. She says to Gongyu, I'll says this again. Be careful down there, because these prisoners are much stronger than those on the ground. Gongyu enters the room and sees that all the criminals are fighting with each other. Ju is worried about Gongyu. Someone appears in front of her and says, I wouldn't worry about him, because you have your own problems. That criminal grabs her from her neck. Criminal says that he always wanted to kill her. This is great. He calls other criminals, but suddenly sees that everyone is dead behind him. He gets scared. He sees that he is about to get hit by Gongyu's punch. He kills him. Gongyu asks her to not stay around. When they open the next floor, it's not safe. She says, I got it. She informs him that Tomoki, the villain Tomi captured, is in isolation on the first basement floor. He says, I know. We see first basement floor isolation cell. There are some criminals talking about the voices that they heard. They assumes that the other criminals managed to escape. Tomoki is there. She says, idiots. Of course they didn't. Do you think any of us can make a roaring sound like that? I told them to stay, but they just wouldn't listen. She killed 28 heroes until now. She says, see? There's a reason why you lot ended up as villains in the first place. You don't think with your head. She was a hero before. One criminal asks her if she wants to die. She asks him, you think you can kill me? You're all here for killing civilians. Have you killed anyone with superpowers? In fact, have you even fought against one? I guess not. You wouldn't be here if you did. Criminal says, I'll kill on right here and now. She attacks him. After killing him, she asks him, who's killing whom now? Arrogant bastard. I captured countless villains as a hero and learned how to fight against people with superpowers. I used that knowledge to kill a bunch of heroes as well. So join forces with me. I'll tell you how to hunt down someone with superpowers. Because I know Gongyu's abilities. Criminals asks her, what? You know about Gongyu's abilities? How do you know that? She replies, I had a long career as a hero, you know? I know many things about most heroes. Criminal asks her, but what difference does it make? We will call Gongyu as SEO from now on. Criminal says, SEO was a part of equality, which means he's a first-tier hero, unlike you. You are nothing but a third-tier hero. She says, after Rausa became the leader of equality, she started the reformation of the entire hero industry. Firstly, she redefined what it means to be a hero and banned heroes from killing villains. Secondly, she regularly made heroes train together in groups. And lastly, she abolished the tier system. which ranked heroes into 5 different tiers. So why am I telling you this? The tier systems were abolished before SEO joined Equality. No one was expecting him to join the group because he didn't have any notable achievements on his own. So there were rumors that he either had powerful connections or was Rouse's secret lover. Criminal says, "You right, I've never seen SEO fight at all. And yet, it barely took him any time to wipe out the ground floor. That means he at lowest as powerful as a second-tier hero. We can't fight someone like him." She says that the ground floor was full of weaklings. Even Yulok could have wiped them out. Red hair person's name is Kim. He murdered 1,738 people. Second person's name is Ron Rio. He murdered 1,983 people. Third person's name is Curiel. He murdered 2,270 people. Purple hair man's name is Midjonak. He murdered 3,251 people. And lastly, this person's name is Speech. He murdered 6,435 people. She says, "I'm not saying SEO is weak. I'm sure he's pretty strong, but I know his weakness. That's why I'm telling you we can hunt him down." Speech asks her, "Are you sure about his weakness?" She says, "Come on. Why are you being so indecisive, boys? You don't have much of a choice here anyway. So what's it gonna be? He's getting closer by the second, you know?" Everyone joins her. Lastly, she asks from Speech if he wants to join her. He says, "Fine. I'll fight with you too. What's the plan?" We learn that the superpowers first observed in humans several centuries ago. Over the years, researchers studied the phenomenon and grouped the abilities into 3 categories. Physical-type superpowers modify and strengthen the user's body. Creation-type superpowers allow one to create material out of nothing. And special-type superpowers are all other powers that don't fall into the 2 categories above. SEO appears there. They say that the target is in the area. Speech asks her, "Can you see him?" She says, "Yes." She is using physical-type superpower brainwave communication. She thinks that SEO has physical-type superpowers, just like me. Tomoki thought she knew Gongyu's weakness because she had seen him train when she was still a heroine. Gongyu is using a robot to train himself. Gongyu asked them to make a choice. Put your suppression device back on or die. Suddenly he gets attacked by something. Tomoki knows that he never dodges the attack. Tomoki placed prisoners with creation and special-type superpowers behind the fortified cell door to blast attacks at Gongyu from a distance. So many criminals are attacking Gongyu at once. Speech says, "You're right. He's taking all the blows." Tomoki knew why Gongyu didn't dodge any attacks. He simply didn't feel the need to dodge them. And that's why Tomoki added something to the barrage of ranged attacks. Suddenly, so many things held Gongyu in one place. These are superpower suppression devices. Speech says, "I searched the dead guard bodies and got these devices like you asked. But these are for prisoners on the first basement floor. Will they work on him?" She says, "Don't worry. We just need to get a bunch of them on him. 10 of those should be enough to suppress a second-tier hero, and 15 for a first-tier hero. We have enough to seal his superpowers. Million can attach the devices on him while the others bombard him." Million killed 2,421 people, a special-type superpower that can make items lock on a target. She says, "But let's play it safe. Just in case. 30 devices should be more than enough to get the job done." They are happy because they were able to get the suppression devices on him successfully. But Tomoki's plan had 3 flaws. The first flaw, Gongyu is more powerful than any other first-tier hero. Speech is shocked after seeing Gongyu smash through all the suppression devices. Tomoki also gets shocked. Now criminals are trying to run away. Speech tells everyone that now is the time for Phase 2. They make some guards their hostage, and they say that if you want to save them, before they even complete their sentence, Gongyu uses his powers to suppress them. The second flaw of Tomoki's plan. Gongyu's superpower isn't limited to his physical-type abilities. He also has special-type superpowers. The third and the last flaw in Tomoki's plan. Criminals are trying to hide from him and planning on putting the devices back on. One criminal says that he'll put the devices back on. But now he is late. Gongyu kills him without any second thought. Tomoki tried to set a strategy to fight someone she had no chance of winning against. Gongyu tells them that they are late. Speech is very shocked after seeing his powers. Speech is angry at Tomoki and asks her what is that. They got wiped out. Don't you have a backup plan? She says, this can't be. It's impossible. Speech says that he shouldn't have trusted her. She is still wondering why suppression devices did not work on him, despite attaching 30 of them. Tomoki says shut up and kills him. She gets angry and says, how dare you yell at me? Do you think you're better than me? We attached enough devices to suppress a first-tier hero. But how did he break them all? If he's really that strong, why didn't he even fight villains himself? None of this make any sense. Damn it. She sees a guard laying on the ground. Guard is crying and asking for help. Tomoki is about to kill her, but Gangyu cuts down her hand. Gangyu says, heroine Tomoki. Or should I say inmate Tomoki? Do you have any last words? She says, well, I'm screwed. This is the end of the video. Subscribe for the next part.